In this video, we're going to talk about waist circumference. In fact, we're going to spend a little extra time on this subject because of this very important point, and that is that carrying too much extra fat around your waist puts you at much higher risk of developing obesity-related health problems, such as diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Therefore, the most practical way to determine whether you have too much abdominal fat and putting yourself at risk for those diseases I just mentioned is to measure your waist circumference. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do just that and get great results right from your own home. And if you have too much abdominal fat, your waist circumference is too large, I'm going to show you what you can do today to start reducing those inches and reducing your risk for a lot of chronic disease. Before I do any of that, I want to explain to you the two different kinds of fat in your belly. One is subcutaneous fat, the other is visceral. And you can notice by this diagram that the subcutaneous fat is the fat that lies directly under your skin, between your skin and your muscle wall. The visceral fat lies deeper. It's the fat that lines your internal organs. And that's the fat that we need to be concerned about. It's the most dangerous kind when you get too much. Now, another fact I want you to know is that we need at least some visceral fat. It should never be 0 pounds in our bodies. It lines our internal organs to protect them, so we need at least some. But when we start to get too large of a belly, we start to accumulate fat in that waist area is when health problems are going to start occurring. And it's the visceral fat that's the culprit. And one of the big reasons is that the visceral fat is metabolized by our livers, which is then turned into cholesterol and released into the bloodstream where it forms plaque on our arterial wall, which is why we are more likely to have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease when our belly fat is too much. So obviously then we need to not only know what our waist circumference is, we also need to know where it should be and the proper measures to get it reduced into an ideal range. So what I want to show you next is how you can accurately do this right from home. And you'll hear all kinds of philosophies on how you're supposed to do this, but this is how I want you to measure your waist right from home and get great results.
All right, here's how simple it is to take your own waist circumference measurement. You want to begin by first doing it over top of your bare skin. Don't do it over top of your clothing, over top of your bare skin each time. When you grab your tape measure, make sure that the button is facing up, and you're going to do this from the left side of your body. So I'm going to start by pulling out enough tape so that I can wrap it around my waist and secure it into the other end. And making sure that this tape is button side up on the left side of my body. I'm going to push the button in until the tape starts to compress against my waist. Now, a very important point with this is to make sure that the tape is parallel to the floor. So if you have to turn and look into a mirror, do so, because it's very important that this is perfectly parallel, or the best that you can get it, to the floor. And then what I need you to do is make the tape measure run directly through your belly button. You'll hear people tell you, no, it's 2 inches above your belly button, 2 inches below. No, it's directly above your hip bones. Don't make it any more difficult. It's easy to remember. Make it go through your belly button each and every time, and as long as you make it go through that point, you're going to get more accurate results and more consistent results as you manage this over time. So, when you are all set and have it parallel to the floor, running right through your belly button, I want you to take a deep breath in, blow it out, don't suck in, and then push that button down so it's firmly compressed, or until you hear a click up against your skin. And then all you got to do is look down and see right where that tape measure starts to go into the device is how many inches around your waist is. So if I look down, my waist is about 31 and a half, 31 and a quarter inches or so. When in doubt, round up. So I'm in between 31 and a quarter and 31 and a half. I'm going to say I'm 31 and a half inches. That's what you're going to input into your journals. So that's how simple and easy it is to take your very own waist circumference at home.
Now that you understand how to take an accurate measure of your own waist from home, the next question we have to answer is, what is a healthy waist circumference? For women, a waist circumference of 35 inches or greater puts you at high risk for health disease. For men, a waist circumference of 40 inches or greater puts you at high risk. So obviously, for you ladies, you want to have a waist circumference of less than 35 inches, and for you guys, you want to have a waist circumference of less than 40 inches. Now, there is ideal ranges, which puts you at significantly less risk for developing chronic health disease, and where I believe you ultimately would want to try to get your waist circumference in the long term. For women, an ideal waist circumference range is 32.5 inches or less. For men, an ideal waist circumference is 35 inches or less. So basically how I want you to approach this is, if you're a man and you have a waist circumference of 40 inches or greater, or if you're a woman with a waist circumference of 35 inches or greater, I want you to make it a goal of trying to get a waist circumference size of less than 40 for a man, 35 for a female in the short term. I want you to make it your long-term goal to achieve a waist circumference size in the ideal range, which again for women is 32.5 inches or less, and for men 35 inches or less. You will be at the healthiest if your waist circumference is within those ranges. So now that you know what your waist circumference size should be, let's take a look at how you reduce your belly size and do it the right way. And we're going to do this first by looking at the unhealthy lifestyle factors that contribute to fat gain in your abdomen area. The first is whenever you snack late at night on carbohydrate-dense foods. An example of this would be you go into your kitchen a couple hours before bed and you grab chips, pretzels, cookies, crackers, those kinds of things, and you're snacking on those right before bed. Chances are you're going to gain weight, and you're going to gain it in your abdomen area. If you drink your calories outside of skim milk and water, if you're drinking things like fruit juices, calorie-dense coffees, soda, those kinds of calories are most likely going to get stored in your belly area, and you want to reduce how much of those that you consume. If you have a high stress level, stress will wreak havoc on how your body metabolizes energy. In fact, cortisol is something that is released into your body, and whenever that hormone is released, it forces and makes your body store energy in your belly area. So reducing your stress levels can go a long way in reducing how your body stores its energy. Alcohol, especially in the evenings, is a huge contributor to storing abdominal fat. In fact, you're going to see a pattern develop here as I show you some of these others. Eating and drinking late at night is one of the biggest culprits to weight gain in your belly area, especially when alcohol is involved. It forces your body into storing belly fat. Desserts and sweets, another big culprit. High in fat, high in sugar, will tend to go right to your belly area if you're over and above your calorie budget, especially, again, there it is, in the evenings. You want to limit how much of those things that you eat whenever bedtime looms. Eating only 2 to 3 times per day actually trains your body to become a fat storing machine, and the exact opposite of what you want to do. If you eat once, twice, 3 times a day, you actually train your body to store fat more efficiently, specifically in your belly area. You want to eat every 3 to 4 hours. It's something that I preach, something that you're going to start doing instantly in the program, is eating more frequently, because that actually trains you to become a calorie burning machine. Not enough physical activity. If you're not moving around enough, you're not burning calories, which means that you're at higher risk of storing fat, specifically in your belly area. And then probably the biggest factor that contributes to belly size is eating too many calories for your lifestyle, over and above your calorie budget. So it's something that we're going to try to reel in and get control of here, that you will be able to then do for the rest of your life. Now, I'm going to show you 3 essential lifestyle principles that we're going to talk much more about on Monday, but this is the foundation of the program and something that I want to get you in the habit of doing, so that whenever you walk away from the program, you have these instilled in your brain to continue for the rest of your life. And that is to eat healthy foods while staying within your calorie budget, to eat every 3 to 4 hours with balance. And what I mean by that is a balance of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins in the right amounts, which I'm going to teach you all about, and to stay active and to strength train. Those 3 principles will help you reduce your belly size and meet a state of optimal health starting right now, and the foundation for the rest of your life. In conclusion, belly fat is the most dangerous place on your body to carry fat. Therefore, waist circumference may be a more important measure for your overall health than your weight on a standard scale. If your waist circumference is too high, I want you to make it a goal to reduce your waist to less than 35 inches if you're a female and less than 40 inches if you're a male. Then make it your long-term goal to reach and then maintain a waist circumference of 32.5 inches or less if you're a woman and 35 inches or less if you're a man. Most importantly, look for small changes in your waist circumference over time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to drop inches as quickly as you're going to drop pounds. So be positive about it. Look for those small changes to occur, and in the process, your internal health is going to significantly improve. I'll see you guys again in the next message.